Kim Kardashian posted on Facebook.
What? Train wreck.
Yep.
Plus, cross-cultural dating.
And your live love advice on today's episode of The Game Over Show. Welcome to the Game Over Show. I'm Charles D. Orlando.
That makes me Lisa Stedman.
And we're here giving you street smart love advice.
Speaking of someone who needs a little kick to the curb.
Are we jumping right in?
Well, I think we should talk about what's hot. Kim fucking Kardashian.
Which is almost redundant.
I know, right? Like, I really don't need to say that. I just
Sorry.
need to say Kim K and you get the drift.
Yeah, so she
Talk
put up...
to me about this ridiculous post on Facebook.
And Twitter.
And, on Twitter. How did she get this down to 140 characters?
Well, I don't know. She has a hard time reading
She
anything
had
at
a
all.
rant.
So just too much to pass up, right? So this is what she put. So my dad's ex is like
In that voice.
selling ridiculous stories
that
again
voice.
to the tabloids. Don't believe it. Sad when people need money and get desperate. 10 years since dad passed, blah, blah, blah. What killed me about this is that she's got like selling ridiculous... She's bashing on her dad's ex.
Yeah, explain to me what this is about. Her dad, Robert Kardashian, had an ex.
Right.
They were married very briefly before he passed away.
Right.
And she's selling stories to the tabloids about
Evidently.
the Kardashians?
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
selling
yes.
stories
Okay.
About the Kardashians and their life together, however brief it was, right?
Her life with the father.
Yes.
Okay.
She's just trying to get her 15 minutes.
Well, so did the nanny. The nanny wrote a book.
Well, right, everybody's trying to jump on board.
Man, I wish I'd been their nanny. I
So,
cashed in on
well,
that
you got
gravy
another
train.
chance. I mean, she's carrying
Hey,
Kanye's child.
Kim Ye, call me. Not.
Well, so this was just too classic, right? So she's talking about ridiculous stories being sold to the tabloids, right?
She's talking about ridiculous.
So, yeah. So, Kim...
Kim.
Babe, this is how you started your entire fucking career, okay? You were sold to the tabloids. Actually, it wasn't entirely you. It was your vagina. And it was your mother who sold it.
Your momager sold your vagina.
After Ray J, who was actually packing, by the way, like, killed that
We
shit.
say that every time. It's like, props to Ray J. Like, he had any choice in the matter. He was born that way.
Yeah, well, right. So she's talking about ridiculous stories being sold to the tabloids. Girl,
And what
like,
are the ridiculous stories?
Well, they aren't out yet, right? This is all, like,
Okay. But
conjecture.
something about, like, her mom beating her?
Well, yeah, then there was like her mom used to hit her, and this ex is now destroying families with fake stories that are mom threatened to beat her and threatened to kill her and blah blah blah. This is not like real.
Game
this
over.
is like bullshit. Okay.
So, but she's posting, how dare people sell stories to tabloids?
Right, and we won't even talk about your
trying to profit on it.
$18 million fake wedding. That
72-day marriage. She pimped that thing out more than Star Jones did back then. Remember Star Jones, how she got sponsors for her wedding? I mean, that was way back in the day.
Well, yeah, but they made a profit. They made an $8 million profit on this thing. Did Star Jones too?
Oh, yes,
Oh,
she
my
absolutely
God.
did, which was her demise on The View, which tells me we might be heading for a Kim K demise?
Oh, my God.
At least in the, these are the days I miss Paris Hilton. I can't believe I'm saying that. Paris, come back and be the media whore you were. It would be a refreshing change of pace from this Kardashian catastrophe.
If only Lindsay Lohan could steal another necklace, right?
Oh my God, we can't even get into the train wreck that is Lindsay Lohan. We do not have time. Honey, call Dr. Drew.
Who are we talking about?
Lindsay,
All of them.
Kim Yee.
You can't have...
Fetus Yee. What are they calling? Kimbrio.
Kimbrio?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Thank you, producer Fiona. OMG. Oh, and by the way, did you know Kim thinks pregnancy is hard? Bitch, of course it is!
Well, no, it was hard. That's why you got pregnant, right? I mean, come on.
Good Lord, do you not know how things work, lady?
No, she doesn't.
I'm surprised she didn't hire someone to carry her baby for her. Except that pregnancy probably is also cute.
Well, yeah. Oh my God.
Game over.
Game over.
Game
Kim,
over.
I call game over on all of you. Like,
So in 2013, we're calling game over on a whole lot of stuff, and one of the things we're calling game over on is Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
We're done with you. And I used to really like you, I gotta say.
Did you really?
I did. I thought she was great at representing her brand. Her brand has since become a train wreck once she did the registry, the crazy wedding, the 72-hour or 72-day marriage, and then immediately hooked up with somebody else and now won't give the guy a divorce because she won't admit it's fraud.
Right.
You lost me long time ago.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for her to step up to the plate to become the new model for modern maternity or, with crotchless panties for the pregnant woman in you.
Right, because you need to be sexy while pregnancy's hard.
I'm done. So we covered you, and thank God, because you really need to be covered.
About time. Cover it up, honey. Like, you're pregnant now.
And now it's time for He Said, She Said.
Cross-cultural dating. What was your definition during the break?
I didn't have one, actually. when you're like a Kardashian and when you're not, right? So, some people have scruples, other people don't.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I didn't say it, people.
I said it. Send your hate mail to lisa@lisastedman.com.
Oh,
so,
I can't believe we just... Wow, thank you for giving out my email address.
Is that really your email address? Now they know. So,
whatevs, or as your son says, webs.
Webs.
That's the
That's
new
for
one.
you, Drew. That's my
Drew,
son.
I think that's so fucking badass. I now say that, and my husband's like, "What happened to you?" I'm like, "That's what the kids say, honey." Webs. God, I'm so old.
Cross-culture dating.
Cross-cultural dating. That's the purpose of the show today.
Do we have a purpose?
We do.
We have just established our purpose.
We do.
So,
Yay.
no,
I
but
would clap, but that would be annoying.
Actually, I'm now annoyed that you haven't clapped. Thank you.
Train seal.
No, so cross-culture dating, right? Cross-culture dating is hard. Can we define what we're talking about here?
Let's define what we're talking about with cross-cultural dating.
Go ahead. No, we're talking about all the, not only like...
So we're not talking about... So interracial dating, is the way we used to talk about it. But
Right.
now we've got such a melting pot of cultures and religions and classes. And this is real. Like, I don't mean to... Like, we're not calling anybody out. We're not saying there's a caste system. There might be. But, like, we're really talking about what happens when two people come together from vastly different socioeconomic levels, religions, backgrounds, and what makes that challenging in a relationship.
Well, and it's a lot more common today, right? Because technology is bridging distance and class gap. So you end up meeting people that you wouldn't normally meet.
Yeah, you can meet anyone online.
From any country, from anywhere. So, and then you keep up with communication. And this is where online dating comes into a lot of this too.
Yeah, it gives you access to people you might not normally meet.
Sure.
Yeah.
And with the rise of the development of technology, where you talk about development areas like Silicon Valley in Northern California, Silicon Alley in New York, even Austin has come up. There's these little...
Kick my butt. We gotta do go to Austin. I've never been.
Well, let's go.
Okay, woo woo. Clapping
To be
again.
continued. But you end up with a lot of developers and a lot of analytical / creative people in an area that they don't necessarily hail from.
Right.
So you end up with this mix of people there as well.
Right. Well, that's what I love about LA. I mean, I've lived all over the world, so I love that I can live in LA where there's pretty much every culture, ethnicity, all of it combined. I love it.
Right. Well, so they bring a lot of different things. So you talked about religion, the first thing. So
religion is, so when you're dating and you're thinking about a long-term relationship, if you're looking for a long-term relationship, you really need to establish up front how important having shared religious values are.
Sure. Well, that's going to play a part not only in the relationship itself, but kids and ceremonies and practice.
Yes. And so religious holidays. I have, and I'll say this, my cousin and I are good. My cousin and his wife dated for, I think, over 10 years because she was Jewish and he was Christian, and they couldn't decide how they were going to raise their kids, which is why they didn't get married. It took them 10 years to come to that conclusion, and he finally agreed to raise them Jewish. She was Jewish and he wasn't. And they had they had both a Jewish and a Christian ceremony. It was beautiful. But it's so interesting to me because I don't even think they celebrate Christmas at all. My thought is, why not have the best of both worlds?
Well, sure. And I came from a family like that.
You did? Okay.
So mother Jewish, father Roman Catholic turned atheist. So basically, I'm a pedestrian, right? So, but so well, I'm confused. But
in
it's
many ways, people. In many ways.
Well, I'd go to communion, but I'd feel so guilty about it later, right? But
I go for the snacks. Good crackers.
Nice. And wine. Come on now.
All right. Well, I'm Methodist. We didn't actually have wine. We had that grape juice stuff.
Ew.
I know.
What a waste.
I know, but the crackers were good.
Well, I'm of the opinion that, when it comes to cross-culture dating, religion should get you drunk. So there should definitely be some wine involved.
Yes.
But you brought up something really interesting with this whole thing anyway, and that's like the socioeconomic impact of cross-culture. And that's something that's what we alluded to at the top of this segment was around, these are challenges that you wouldn't normally have.
Right. So you can really come from different... So let's talk about what we mean by socioeconomic class differences. So because you can meet anyone now, it's not just who's in your actual close social circle. You might be dating somebody who comes from family money. You're more of like a bootstrapper. Maybe you've never had money or your family didn't have money. And so you can think, and we've actually had advice on the show about this. People have written in about, I love the other person, but the family is not so keen on this cross-class relationship.
Sure.
So
and
we're
that's
going
a
to talk,
tough one.
yeah, and we're going to talk about solutions in the second half of this. So we're really just kind of identifying the challenges in this portion. So definitely, if you come from different upbringings, specifically vastly different socioeconomic backgrounds, that can play a really interesting role, and we'll talk about solutions in the second half. Okay?
Definitely. And language barriers being another one, right? So, people end up meeting in those little pockets.
Sexy, but you have nothing else to talk about.
Well, but they meet in these little like segments of society that have been technology has really done this. Like you go up to Silicon Valley in Northern California here in the States, because we do have a worldwide audience. Hello there. And you end up with this melting pot of people, but English is obviously, at least in those areas, like the most common language.
Right.
But there are differences that happen, and if you don't understand the things that are running underneath some of those language barriers.
Right. So so often you're saying English is a second language.
Sometimes for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so you can identify and feel that chemistry, but this is one of the issues that comes up for cross-culture for sure.
That was something that I was running into when dating, because I have lived all over the world and I love culture. I thought, God, I hope my future husband speaks English. Because I love language. I love, I'm very verbal. So
no,
I know, right? Oh my God, I have to talk everything out. It's probably annoying to work husband, house husband. But so attraction is one thing, but long-term partnership with somebody who doesn't get the nuances of your language, that can be really challenging.
Sure. Well, and then you can take that to the next step when it comes to culture itself, or where they kind of emanate from, and that's really about what's expected of you as a long-term partner or spouse.
Oh, like male-female dynamics?
Yeah, and these are things that are never really talked about-ish. Like there's some red flags that kind of exist during the dating process, but as you get to something more serious, especially with Middle Eastern cultures,
yes,
you end up with a definite expectation of a woman's role versus the man's role.
So we can say, Middle Eastern is a great example, but really it goes back to anything that is very firmly steeped in an old school way of treating women versus a modern way of treating women. Let's treat it that way. And what's interesting about this, I've lived in the Middle East, and men and women are very separate there. Right. So if you think about that and you're dating someone and they come from a different culture, you really will want to know what that culture is all about.
So let's talk about what some of these solutions are. But first,
our sponsor.
Let's talk about
Your Tango.
I like Your Tango.
I love Your Tango. We have to credit, well, we don't have to, but we'll credit Your Tango with introducing us.
Actually, yes. We met 2 years ago.
At a Your Tango video shoot.
That's right. Yep. YourTango.com, and you can find them at Facebook.com/YourTango. They have great experts and articles all about love in the new millennium.
Yeah, love in the new millennium, but also how to get over your ex, how to move on, how to date when you've got kids. So it's all ages and stages of where you are in your personal path towards or away from love.
All right, so cross-culture dating.
Yeah.
You know, let's talk about some how to break through some of those challenges that we put out in the first part of the segment.
If you find yourself, you're dating someone or you're in a relationship with someone from another culture, here's some things you should think about and ways to kind of come together.
So the first thing I would say is really know what you're getting into, right? Like, you're not going to be able to change where they're coming from. You can only figure out what that means for the two of you moving forward.
Right.
So yeah, I mean that's really critical. There's no change that's coming unless they choose to.
Right.
And
so really, just like in any relationship, don't expect the person to change.
you, definitely.
Novel concept.
So
and so important.
well, and some people start making some allowances for some behavior, right?
Would that be like tolerating behavior?
Well, it'd be like sacrificing.
Oh, sacrificing.
Yeah, and
Okay.
whenever you sacrifice, that's a bad thing.
What's the opposite of sacrifice? Like, what should people be doing if like what would be an example of a sacrifice, and how could they shift into something opposite?
Well, you described something. So the opposite of sacrifice would be compromise.
Love
And
compromise.
sacrifice is when you sacrifice your own like values, self-worth, dreams, goals, life, whatever, in order to make a
Desires,
relationship work.
Vision
Right.
of what you want.
But-
Yeah.
and you brought up an example about religion from your cousin.
Yes. Yes.
And it took them 10 years to figure out what that compromise looked like.
Yeah. And they're so happy and they've got great kids, so it is possible, but you've got to find what's going to work for you and your partner, and it's so important to talk about it before you get very far down that road.
Now, you were talking about acceptance a minute ago. So what does acceptance kind of look like?
Oh, acceptance. Well, so acceptance is part of what attracted you to your partner. If you're dating someone from another culture, is that they're different than you, is their culture, is their background. It's part of maybe what excites you, what intrigues you. So knowing that means that part of that's not going to go away. So accepting that is something they're bringing to the table. And celebrating that in them, really not just accepting it, but celebrating it, being like, I get that this is who you are, I see who you are, and I really dig who you are. And it's not always going to be easy or smooth sailing, but accepting that they are who they are and you love them for that.
And acceptance is different than tolerance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
'Cause
Tolerance is way... So, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about this. And I'm going to talk to the ladies for a minute. Some of us tolerate football season. We get pissed. You know, every Sunday, I don't even know what night football's on anymore because I am no longer a football widow. But, you know... We go through football season just waiting for it to be over, and then the next sports season comes and it starts all over again. That's tolerating. Accepting is, you know what, my man's doing his thing with his team. I get it. I'm gonna go have a girls' day, and it's so not even gonna bother me.
See, provided
Yes.
that you're not sacrificing your time and your needs.
Yes.
You know,
Yes,
if you're
but-
compromising.
yes.
Right.
Yes.
So those work together,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to cross-culture.
Yeah, so that's just one example, but the difference is when you're tolerating something, it's still really pissing you off. And when you
Right.
accept it, you may not like it, but you've surrendered. You've surrendered your need to change it.
Did we miss anything? Are you in a cross-culture relationship?
We want to know.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Hit us up at facebook.com/thegameovershow. Right into us. We want to know. Give us
We
a call.
do want to know.
Give us a call. Call me.
He's lonely. Call him, people. Hey, while he's moping, why don't we move on to live love advice?
Street Smart Love Advice brought to you every Monday through Friday here on the Game Over Show. And we do broadcast every day, Monday through Friday.
You said that.
Monday through Friday. 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. in London, and 9 a.m. in Sydney.
Woohoo!
And if you're joining us worldwide, write in and let us know.
And thank you for watching. We know you've got a busy day. We know you got priorities, and the fact that you tune in gives us reason to be here.
Right. And we are one of the only, I think we are the only relationship advice show offered live
Live every day
every
on
day.
Facebook.
Right.
Yeah, so thank you for being a part of this.
In this half of the show, we answer your request for live love advice. Your request for love advice live. Jesus, really? And we keep you anonymous. So when you write into us, we keep it cool. Mm-hmm. This first one comes in from M.
Hi, M.
M says, I have a problem with my other half. I was just wondering if you could answer this.
Yeah.
I'm confused. My boyfriend doesn't say that he loves me. And we only have sex sometimes whenever he feels like it. I always make the first move on doing everything. So I'm like, what the fuck am I not good enough or what? So can I start this?
Start this, and then I got some things to say to
See how this is like brewing over here? This is like a nuclear bomb waiting to go, what are you doing? But I'll get there first. So, you know why this is happening? This is happening because you're allowing it. That's the deal. Okay?
Word.
Yeah, totally enabling all of it. But the key here is that she says, am I not good enough or what?
Well, so I want to be clear that you're enabling it, but that's not like here you're the problem. So let's rein it back in and let's talk about some solutions. First, you're not asking for your needs to be met at all from what you're telling us.
Well, she says she's making the first move,
but she's making a move. She's not saying I have a need.
Right.
You know, she's not saying, hey, could you collaborate with me in this relationship? Instead, she's going, I'm just going to go,
Well, see, and I think that, and I agree with you, but I think a lot of women feel it's not genuine if you have to ask for it, right? Like, I wish you could do this
men
for
don't
me.
read our crazy minds. They can't. There's a whole lot of wildness up here, ladies, and down here. It's so true. He knows. He's got a wife and a wife, so it's a little crazy up in here. So the confusion comes from not communicating, I think.
I think that's part of it, for sure.
Can you communicate? Can you talk about it?
I think she has to. But what concerns me is that she says, am I not good enough? Am I not worth it? So you've got your self-value attached to what he does. And if you're not communicating your needs...
for validation outside yourself.
And he's got no shot at grabbing her needs and fulfilling them if she's not putting them out there. So it's a self-fulfilling, hurtful process.
Yes, and so here's what happens when we don't value ourselves. We don't give ourselves a voice. We don't give ourselves permission to actually say what we need. So first step, M, First step, M, you deserve to have your needs met. But you got to start with meeting your own needs and loving yourself, right?
Right.
So we got to start with some self-love, working on the self-love. Second step, talk to your man. Tell him what you need. See if he listens. Maybe he'll listen and will be like, oh, thank God, now I know. Or if he's like, don't have time, I'm out.
Then you'll know. Then you'll know. Game over.
Game over.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, let us know how that goes.
Next from A. A says... If you tell your significant other you are ready for a change without them because you're tired of the same old stuff, and they say they'll be fine without you, and you've been together for about 5 years, what does that say? A, that says game over.
So this is hilarious. A was pussyfooting around wanting to break up, and A's significant other said, I'm cool with the breakup, and now you're pissed?
Well, she's wondering what it means.
You want. It means game over.
It means game over.
Were you testing him, hoping that he'd shape up?
Well, and that's what a lot of people do, men and women, where it's like, I'm going to break up, and you're waiting for them to go, no, don't.
Okay, so A, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at me being in this situation many, many years ago, so I can relate. But the truth is, if you wanted a get out of jail free card, they just gave it to you.
Right.
Game on.
But you're not going to find them. I mean, you're saying that you're not satisfied because it's the same boring relationships. Now you put that out there, and he agreed. So now what?
You're on the same page. Yay! Congratulations. Game over.
Game over. Move on for sure.
That's what it means.
This comes in from Jay.
Hi, Jay.
Jay says, "Can you tell me what I should do if the only men I like treat me badly? It's so frustrating. I want to be happy and with the ones that treat me nice, but there always seems to be no spark, and nearly always end up not interested, and I end up bored. She only wants the guys to treat her like shit."
Somebody's addicted to bad love.
Absolutely. You're ending up, it's a couple of things. So you're looking at exactly the wrong person based on how you value yourself.
And what you want to attract. Like
That's right.
What feels comfortable to you is discomfort.
We've said this before, and it's holding true right here. You're not having bad relationship after bad relationship. You haven't had like 10 bad relationships. You've had one bad relationship 10 times in a row. Okay? Mm-hmm. And you're finding these people. you're seeking them out and you are attracted to them, and then you're wondering why it's blowing up in your face. The reason you're not interested and you're bored with nice guys is that nice guys don't come with all that shit. You don't have to constantly...
There's no drama, butterflies, doubt, uncertainty. It's pretty clear with a nice guy. They let you know how they feel about you, and maybe you don't trust it. Maybe you don't like it. Maybe you like the roller coaster. I say get off the roller coaster.
Right? Get out of there. You know, you're worth more than what these wrong guys are doing. So look in, like, where your self-worth is. And
you're worth more, but you got to believe it first.
There it is.
Yeah.
That.
He was getting to it.
That.
I summed it up.
That.
And it reminds me, remember the other day we had a great guy write in about being a nice guy? Sounds like maybe, like she was in the not so nice, like, we gotta get on the same page. Good men rock. Don't let the bad boys mess with your head, your heart, or your loins. As much fun as the loins part can be.
Jay, we had a guy write in who was a really nice guy. He was screwed over by bad women. Double dare you to send me your contact information. Maybe we can make a love connection.
And you will have chemistry eventually with a fabulous man.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Last comes in from T.
Hey, T.
T says, I wonder why men leave and come back constantly.
Because you let them.
And that's our show. Thank you. 10-year relationship with a 2-year-old child that they've had together. Okay. And there's 5 other kids.
Ooh.
3 are his, 2 are hers.
Brady Bunch.
And, yeah, actually.
Brady Bunch.
And he has his kids full-time. His partner had died 11 years ago. But he keeps coming in and out. And it bugs him. What is his motive and what does he gain from jumping in and out of the relationship?
Take it.
So, firstly, you called it right out of the gate, right? He's doing it because you allow it, right? But I would bet that there's a bunch of stuff underneath. You're talking about a partner that died 11 years ago. You're talking about getting back into a place of commitment and vulnerability.
Vulnerability.
Yeah. Like, so 11 years is a long time, but it's a long time to me. How long is that to him? I mean, people grieve their own ways, right? So I have no doubt that he's got to feel something for you. You have a child together. You've been together for 10 years,
Keeps
right?
Coming back.
But you got together a year after his partner died. Died 11 years ago. You're in a 10-year relationship.
Ooh,
so
good point.
Was that enough time?
Wow.
My gut is that there's a whole bunch of stuff going on his side of the fence that has nothing to do with you. And, you know, you got to put a safe place out there for him to, like, choose to hopefully say what's going on. But that's ultimately his decision. You can't fix whatever's broken. He needs to come and participate. Right?
And you need to talk to him about it because if it's not working for you anymore, he needs to get that memo.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Because you're changing.
If you have a question, please write in facebook.com/theproblem-is-men. Yeah, I train wrecked that whole sentence, right?
And the Game Over Show.
Woo! Oh, Jesus Christ. Really? That's the second time this season I've done that. Oh my God. Go to facebook.com/thegameovershow. That's
and also check out Charles's amazing fan page that's facebook.com/problem-is-men. Boy, I butchered that.
Thank you. I appreciate you doing that, actually. Jesus. It's like when a radio host...
pain.
Well, no, it's like when a radio host changes stations, and then they go to that station, and they screw it up. It's like, you're on 103 point... Oh, shit. You're on 107 point... Right? Okay. So, we're not going to do that again, mostly because that's a goddamn breaker, right? And that's tomorrow's show,
Deal Breakers.
So, we talked about cross-culture dating with a bunch of challenge. Some of those things are non-negotiable.
Some of those are game overs.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about those tomorrow. Join us tomorrow on the Game Over Show. Until then, I'm Charles D. Orlando.
And that makes me Lisa Stedman.
And I'm having a big glass of shut the fuck up.
Bye.
Bye.